Today I'm going to show you a new feature that we have added to your BREW. This is really great if you're using any sort of third-party tools like Clicky, Google Analytics, basically anything that requires a code that needs to be put in the header or the footer of your website. Now, one thing to keep in mind before we dig into where you can edit this, be careful which codes you are using on your website, and if you know you're going to be using multiple third-party codes in the header or footer of your website, add them one at a time, test your website, make sure that they agree with one another before adding the next one. That way, if there is a conflict between the code and your website, you know exactly which code is causing the conflict, and then you can either notify our team to see if there's a workaround for it, or contact the third-party program that you're trying to add and see if they have another code or another solution that might work best. Okay? So where you're going to go is in the back end of your BREW. When you log in, you're going to go to BREW, and then it's going to pop up with this little menu bar, and you're going to go into header and footer scripts. Now, this was a separate plugin that you would have to install before. We have worked it into our theme directly, so that way you do not have to worry about a third-party plugin to add these codes. So you have your header scripts, and then you have your footer scripts. So you can just paste the code right up in here, hit enter a couple times, add the next code, so on and so forth for whatever codes you need. Some tools that we use that generally need to go into the header or the footer are Hotjar. Hotjar is a heat map tracking tool, and that's something that we normally have to put in the header of our websites. So if you're using Hotjar, this is going to be really helpful for you to make sure that it's working on your website properly. For the footer, codes like Google Analytics and Clicky are just a couple to name that might go in that particular section. You can put text and stuff in here as well, but it can cause some weird formatting on your website, so we don't necessarily recommend it. We primarily have this on here, like I said, for those third-party tracking codes that need to be put on your website. So we have an easy place for you to do that. If you have any questions or any issues at all, please contact us at team@ballenbrands.com.